So I think when Landon like first got with me, the fact that he could do all these things and like buy me things and then win me over, and then eventually when I come to a point where I'm even like, can you stop buying me stuff because it's like a little bit excessive, he would like kind of get turned off by me. It's almost like, you know how they want someone to be constantly mean to them or dismissive of them or cold towards them. And my ex was the same way. Once I started being nice to him, once I started showing him love, he was the same way. He would like completely, he would drop his standards. He wouldn't like me as much. But then when I returned to being mean or dismissive, they love me so much. And then they like try to win me over all again. But then it's just a game. It's a constant game. But you have to imagine if they didn't get enough love from their mother, for example, that is how their mother was. Like, for example, my ex was a cold woman, was very dismissive towards him. So for him also, that's what he's trying to recreate in the relationship with me. If you look at the relationship, me and the two serious relationships that I had, which was Landon and my ex, we're both doing the same thing. My ex was trying to recreate his childhood with his mom in me and looking for like a mother figure. And I think Landon was doing the same thing. He wanted a love like a mother. I could not give that to him. When you have never known love as a child, as an adult, you will go for what's familiar. And what is familiar is control, controlling what I wear, controlling what I do, what I say. And for me, I even view that in a man as, oh, he loves me. So if, let's say, Landon would tell me, you can't wear this, I think that's love because he cares about what I can or cannot do, or he's jealous over me. But I don't see it as like, wait a minute, he's controlling you. Just think like that must be love, because I don't know what love is from a man. I think the only way I've ever felt real love was through my animals and love through my friends. I felt real love through my sister and my family, like my mom, my brothers, but not really through a partner. I also think that the way you grew up plays a big role in all of this intimacy and being comfortable with your sexuality. Like, for example, I grew up in a very, very strict household. Like, it's very patriarchal as well. Women were just wives for a man. And I don't know one woman around me, aunt, whatever, that has married for love. All of them married to get out of the house and just have freedom. So I don't know anyone that has married for love. When you grow up like that, you genuinely have a weird sense of romance. I also didn't grow up watching Disney movies, so I don't romanticize any of that stuff. I just grew up like an adult. I was very close to my mom, and I would always follow my mom around. So whatever worries my mom had, I put on myself. So I almost felt like I was taking care of 5 children. I almost felt like I was very responsible for my family and for the money, or like the lack of money that we had. I felt very responsible for that. I felt responsible for my mom and how my dad was treating her. I always just wanted to protect her. I was always giving her advice on just leave and, you know, you can do this. And I was always her therapist. I wasn't a child. And I think now that I'm pregnant, I don't want my child to for 1 second have to worry about me. I think every child deserves a childhood. And I think the trauma that you experience from your parents really shapes you as an adult. And it's so hard to get rid of these things. And you are really left with like lifelong healing. Some of the signs that I ignored were that I read Landon's matrix chart when we first got together. And in his matrix chart, in his past life, it had said that he had cheated on a loved one before. He had chosen lust over love. So he is likely to repeat this in this lifetime. And that's like something he should watch out for. And I remember reading that and I was thinking to myself, I had also read my matrix chart, my family's. I had read it for my ex. And these things had always been very accurate. And the things that they struggle with had been accurate. So I was wondering then, is he a cheater? Like, that's weird. Like, no way But then it said it is matrix chart, but I didn't have any evidence other than the matrix chart. And you know, if I break up over the matrix chart, you're gonna call me crazy. But I would tell him these things. I would be like, I have this feeling you're a cheater. And then he would be like, what the fuck? Say like, Sabina, your sister is saying crazy things again. And Sabina was like, Liz, stop self-sabotaging. You're a good guy. And my sister used to say, Liz, if he was a cheater, he would want to leave you, or he would want to go to the US to go see his family or whatever, but he never leaves your side. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, there's no way. Another sign that I ignored was I was getting dreams and intuition. Yes, oh my God, even in the Q&A, the one before, when I filmed that Q&A with Landon, I didn't think anything of it. But when I saw a clip on TikTok go viral of me saying to Landon, he's talking about forgiveness and you should always forgive or whatever. And then I say to him, I go like, yeah, it depends if the person is like texting people, that's not forgivable. I don't know why I said that. I don't know how I said that. I don't know what hell that came from. But me and Landon watched that video together and we thought that was so normal. And we were like, that was such a good video. We didn't even think about any of that. When I saw that back, I was like, how the fuck did I literally predict this? Also, before that, I had went to Dubai with my sister after me and Landon spent 3 months together in Switzerland. I had to go back to get some boxes because I was moving to the US and I still had some stuff there. So I went back and I was there with my sister for like 1 week, and Landon was 1 week in Dallas, and then we're gonna meet in London for my birthday. So then I remember when I was in Dubai, I had a dream where I see Landon and I see another girl and I'm also in the dream, and then all of a sudden Landon is with this girl. He's cheating on me in front of me, but the girl is confused that I'm angry, and I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And then she looks at me confused in the dream, and then Landon is like trying to manipulate me into thinking that this is normal. So I'm like so confused, but then in the dream, I remember I was going to my family to tell them like, this is over, we're done. And then the dream basically ended with Landon like on the bench, like holding his head down, and he was really sad. And I woke up from that dream and I felt that this dream was a message. And I get dreams and these dreams happen. So when I, for example, had a friend, this was even when I was with Landon, he saw it happen in real life. Like I had a friend and that friend had like gossiping about me or whatever, okay? I had a dream about that night. Like that this friend of mine was talking shit about me, doing whatever, and that I couldn't trust this friend. So I woke up and I told Landon like, oh my God, I had this dream about this friend. Landon was like, oh, you're crazy, whatever. So then what happened is that same day, me and Landon, we found everything out like through another friend, and what I had dreamt was true. So he then said like, whoa, Liz, like you're scary. Your dreams actually happen. And I said, yeah, I've always had this. So he knew that. So I had that dream about him then cheating. So what I did, I FaceTimed him when I woke up and I said, Landon, I had a dream where you were cheating on me and manipulating me into thinking this is normal. And I said, are you cheating on me? And he said, what the fuck? No. He's like, I'm actually so offended you would say that to me, blah, blah. And we had a whole fight. But I said, Landon, I don't dream things for no reason. And he's like, no, you're just crazy, blah, blah. I said, okay, I might be crazy. I don't know. But it felt wrong and I didn't forget about it. So then what happened? A week later, I go to London to see Landon and we're gonna celebrate my birthday and everything. And I'm sleeping next to him. I'm sleeping and guess what? Same dream happens again. Same exact dream. There's a girl is having an affair with this girl. This girl is confused why I'm angry, and I'm like literally like, what the fuck are you guys doing? He is then again manipulating me in the dream that this is normal. I wake up from this dream with severe heartbreak. Like my heart felt like it was broken into pieces when I woke up, like genuinely hurt. I look at Landon, I wake him up. I said, Landon, this is the second time I had this dream. I said, are you cheating on me? And he said, what the fuck? I'm right here next to you. Are you crazy? Blah, blah. And Sabina was also with us at the Airbnb. So he calls Sabina. He's like, Sabina, your sister is literally overreacting again. She's trying to cause a fight. And Sabina's like, Liz, like, calm down. And I was like, Sabina, my heart is literally broken. I feel heartbreak. There's no way. And then she was like, no, Liz, stress yourself out. You're pregnant. Relax. Like, there's nothing. Like, and she looks at Landon and she says, he has to be so stupid to be cheating on you because he will lose everything. And Landon is like, yeah. But then I couldn't let this shit go. So what did I do? I went to Hyde Park with my sister. We went to walk. And I told Sabina, I said, Sabina, it doesn't feel right. There's no way. I said, this is a sign. This is a sign. And she said, okay, Liz, listen. Don't just ask for vague signs. Ask God right now, pray to God right now, and ask him to give you a clear sign, to show you the truth, the harsh truth. And I said, okay. So I prayed there. I said, God, please. I said, show me who he really is. Show me the harsh truth. And then, yeah, 3 days later, I received those messages from that girl. And I saw it. And then, yeah, it's so crazy when you ask God to show you who people are or to remove any bad people from your life. You'll often see that the people closest to you get removed or they get revealed for the bad intentions that they had with you. So I have noticed that in both of my relationships, the minute I got really successful or they realize how much money I make, the relationship issues start and they start behaving very, very differently. I think it's very hard for successful women to date because a lot of men will view these women as competition. Even successful men, they will just see you as a competition and they would much rather prefer a woman that isn't as successful because it doesn't hurt their ego. For example, with my ex, when we first started out the relationship, I didn't have any money. I was already doing TikTok, I was already doing everything, but I wasn't really making money. But then 6 months into the relationship, I was doing YouTube and I went immediately viral. And then he was making like 10K a month. Okay, he was in finance, he was making 10K a month. And I went from making nothing to all of a sudden like making 20K, now making 40K, now making 70K, and then more and more and more. And then he's seeing that. He's seeing how much I'm growing and how fast. And for him, said it to me, he was like, you know, I feel like I can't do anything for you anymore. I feel like you make too much money. And he said like, I'm not comfortable in the position where you're making more money than me, because he's like, I don't think I can impress you anymore. So then also like our relationship dynamics started to become very weird, or they start being like, oh, I have financial issues and this and that. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And with my ex, like I gave him money even when we broke up because he was telling me he had financial issues. And obviously I'm not gonna be stingy or not help him. He had bought me a lot of stuff. He had helped me as well. So I was not gonna be stingy. So I did help him. It's almost like they feel most comfortable when they can provide and you kind of need them. But once a man sees that you don't really need him for financial, then what else can they really offer you if they're not that emotionally advanced or never had to really focus on their emotional side, because, you know, the patriarchy tells men just to go to work and that's it, and you can find a family and whatever. But these days we have women that are so successful, and then now men are kind of like, okay, what can I offer this woman, because I had never had to develop myself any further than just go to work and make money. So now if money doesn't impress a woman anymore, what else can you offer? I think a lot of men become jealous of women like that and they want to be that woman. So I don't think you can be in a relationship with someone that wants to be you. I think I should be working on really what I want, on my sexuality, on becoming comfortable with my sexuality, on becoming comfortable with intimacy, because that's a big trauma. Like growing up, even if you were around a man, you could literally get like unalived. That was a whole culture that I grew up in. Like honor killings for girls are so normalized. You are not allowed to date. You are not allowed to do anything that's feminine. Then you are ruining the family's reputation. So when you grow up like that, how can you even like men? Like genuinely, how? Because you are scaring these girls from a young age of men, okay? And I'm gonna admit, most men are scary, but not all men are scary, and there's still good men. So how are you raising children to be afraid of another gender and then you expect them to marry them and just be normal with them? That's not going to be a healthy relationship because they never even got to experience being with them. So another thing that I ignored, but my body was showing, and a lot of my fans have told me, was that a lot of acne in both of my relationships. Constant rashes, constant acne that I would get. And then I got, again, allergies, rashes. My skin was so messed up, inflamed. I started looking gray in the face, but I think it's genuinely because I pour so much energy into people around me, and I really pour so much into them, like really in a codependent way. They say to me, I'm not happy. I think to myself, okay, how can I make you happy? How can you be happy? Like, that is like my whole world. I think men get a lot of energy from women. And even Landon, he would like track his sleep when he was sleeping. He noticed that the days that he wouldn't sleep next to me, he would sleep 90% with more stress than he would sleep next to me. When you find out someone is a cheater and they cheated on you, I don't feel like that's really a bad thing. I feel like it's really protection from God. I feel like you literally got protected, okay? You saw this person for who they were, and better that you saw it very, very fast. I wasn't really sad. I was honestly so happy. And it's the first time that I really stopped isolating myself. Because this is what I do, okay? I get into a relationship, I isolate with my partner, we don't leave our house, and we just stay like that. Like, same with my ex. I would not leave, I would not make friends. Like, I would just spend all day with him every time. So I isolate myself on purpose because I think I feel safe when I isolate myself. That doesn't make the relationship healthy. It becomes such an unhealthy, boring relationship because you're literally like a 70-year-old couple. Same with Landon, we just isolated constantly. When it ended, I honestly felt like, you know, like finally, I felt like I can now go and travel, and I wanted to do those things. So then I took my sister, we traveled all over Europe. We had the best time. Like, I had such a great summer, like, honestly. And I was really happy. And then a lot of people were like, Liz, why aren't you sad? Or you should be more sad. And I was like, I cannot be sad when I have such a blessed life. It would even like irk me that I would be complaining or that I would feel bad about any of this, because God blessed me with such a good life. I have worked so hard to have a good life, and I do have a good life, and my child will have such a blessed, good life, you know? Like, thank God. I have gratitude. There's so many bad things happening in the world. Cheating, yeah, well, that's it. You know, what can you do? You saw the person for who they were, and then you decide, what do you do next? How do you handle this next? And honestly, when I was talking to a lot of people that are married for like 8 years, 10 years, they all told me that this is not a good reason to leave the relationship. And I said, excuse me? And they said, yeah, Liz, like, that's what marriage is about. You forgive the person and then you on again and all these things. And I was really thinking to myself, like, so is this how people live? So you guys just do all of that and then you forgive each other and then you continue. Then I was thinking, like, that makes sense to me if you are really into men and if you really like to be around them and if you love living with a partner or with a woman, or it doesn't matter who it is, you know, if you love and you love living with them, then yeah, that makes sense that you would want to figure it out. And or if, for example, you are with a person for money, like, great, you can stay. As long as you have money, they'll just do their thing and you can do your thing. But if you genuinely don't really like that stuff, and if you're happy by yourself or with your family, friends, and with your pets, I don't see the point in that. Like, it's just more drama, it's more stress, it's more struggling. So I don't get it. Also, this whole thing of like, oh yeah, men cheat, all men cheat. I don't believe that. I genuinely think there's men that don't cheat. Leaders cheat. There's a lot of women that cheat. And I honestly think you have to be really validation seeking and insecure to just cheat, because one person is never going to do it for you, and you constantly need the attention from other people or them to tell you that you are something in order for you to feel like you are something. Sometimes it can also be an addiction. When you start ignoring your purpose or you start ignoring what you're meant to do, then God will force you out of a situation. If you don't listen to the signs, if you don't listen to all of these things that God is telling you or showing you, you will be forced out of that situation, and that is really painful. Marriage and having children is a very big step. It's not something that should be glamorized because it's not that easy, not for a woman. And I don't think that when a woman gets into a relationship with someone that is not contributing anything financially, I don't think that's a fair relationship at all. Imagine you walk away from someone that is not willing to help at all, and all these things, you know, it's super, super hard. So I do think women should think about that, because men think like that too. Men have super high standards. Men expect so many things from women. So expect at least money for yourself. So happy, like the good thing that came out of this is like I donated $50,000, $5,000 to 10 different single moms, and just my heart really, that really makes me feel so good, because every day still praying for me. They're so sweet. I'm so happy this happened. Like, I'm so happy the situation happened, because I could have helped so many women, and I'm gonna continue doing that. I have done this before. You know, people always say like, oh, she's just a gold digger. I love money. I will always love money. I love money. But I also love giving money away. Like, that's why I love money. Like, if you have a lot of money, you can do so much for people, you know? If I have more money, then I can like start building schools and help countries and all these things, or orphanages. That's why I think money is such a beautiful thing. You can bless a lot of people with it. And if you're in a position like that, I would say like, you know, give back to people and help them, donate where you can, in public, in private, it doesn't matter, you know. Anyways, so yeah, I love you guys so much, and yeah, I see you in the next video. Bye bye.